Have you ever wondered why you sometimes make financial choices that seem completely irrational? Even though you know what the right thing to do would be? Why you buy something you don't need, invest in something you don't understand, or postpone important decisions even when you know you should act? Exactly. The truth is, the human brain isn't as rational as we like to believe. And understanding this is essential for anyone who wants to achieve financial prosperity, especially after 40. For a long time, we believed in the idea that humans are logical decision makers, rational beings who weigh pros and cons, make mental calculations, and decide based on reason. But neuroscience and behavioral economics have shown that this image is a myth. In reality, most decisions, including financial ones, are made by the emotional brain. Reason often arrives late, just to justify what was already decided on impulse. Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner in economics, proved this in his studies on human behavior. He showed that we have two mental systems, one fast, automatic, and impulsive, the other slow, reflective, and rational. Guess which one decides first? The fast one. It's the emotional brain that lights up desire, triggers anxiety, and demands an immediate response. The rational part only creates a nice story to explain it afterward. And that's exactly where many financial problems begin. You don't buy because you need to. You buy because your brain wants to feel something. Pleasure, relief, power, belonging. And when pleasure is strong, reason goes silent. That's why so many people spend what they don't have, accumulate debt, or miss investment opportunities. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's a lack of self-awareness. The brain is like a system divided into three layers. The oldest, called the reptilian brain, is concerned only with survival. The limbic system, responsible for emotions, seeks pleasure and avoids pain. And the prefrontal cortex, the most recent part, is the one that thinks, plans, and evaluates risk. But what few people know is that the emotional system usually dominates. When fear, desire, or euphoria take over, reason simply loses control. That's why the financial market fluctuates so much based on collective emotions. When people feel fear, they sell everything. When they feel euphoria, they buy without thinking. And the same thing happens in personal life. How many times have you made a financial decision driven by the fear of losing, or by the immediate pleasure of gaining? Neuroscience explains it. Fear activates the amygdala, releasing stress hormones. Pleasure activates dopamine, the same neurotransmitter involved in addiction. And both can hijack reason in a matter of seconds. After 40, this dynamic becomes even more challenging. Because you've already experienced losses, achieved victories, accumulated experience, and emotional scars. Your brain records each of them as emotional memories. So, when you face a new financial decision, it reacts based on the past. If you lost money in an investment, you feel fear. If you had quick success, you feel euphoria. And these emotions shape your current behavior, often without you realizing it. That's why so many intelligent people keep repeating the same financial mistakes. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's the power of unconscious mental patterns. The mind creates automatic shortcuts, called cognitive biases. For example, the confirmation bias makes you seek only information that reinforces what you already believe. The anchoring bias makes you base your judgment on irrelevant numbers, like a "was 500 raise, now 250 raise" price tag that looks like a great deal, even when it's not. The herd effect leads you to follow what everyone else is doing. Because if everyone is buying, it must be right. And the most powerful of all, loss aversion. The brain feels the pain of losing money twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining it. That's why so many people prefer to hold on to a bad investment rather than accept a loss and start over. The truth is, the brain doesn't seek what's logical. It seeks what's familiar, even if the familiar is harmful. That's why, so often, you repeat financial behaviors that make no sense. The brain associates what's known with safety and what's unknown with danger. That's why change requires awareness, training, and practice. But don't be discouraged. There's good news. Your brain has neuroplasticity. It can be re-educated. Neuroplasticity shows that it's possible to create new mental pathways and transform your relationship with money at any stage of life, even after 40. And the first step is recognizing that you are not entirely rational. That realization is liberating. Because when you understand how the brain works, you stop fighting against it and start cooperating with it. For example, when you feel the urge to buy something on impulse, stop for 24 hours. Don't forbid yourself, just postpone. That simple pause allows the emotional brain to cool down and the rational brain to come back online. In many cases, the desire disappears on its own. Another exercise is to record what you feel before and after making financial decisions. Fear, relief, pride, guilt. Doing this builds emotional awareness and weakens automatic impulses. It's also essential to take care of dopamine. Many people seek pleasure through spending because their brain is deprived of natural rewards. Walking, meditating, learning something new, practicing gratitude. All these activities release dopamine in a balanced way. When the brain learns to feel pleasure in progress, not just in purchasing, prosperity becomes sustainable. There's another important point: the illusion of control. The brain creates the feeling that it's always in charge, even when it's being guided by emotions. You think you decided rationally, but in reality, you're just justifying what you already wanted to do. And that leads to guilt, regret, and self-sabotage. Recognizing that illusion is the first step toward change. Instead of trying to control everything, start observing. Notice how you feel about money, numbers, debts, gains. The simple act of observing without judgment already reprograms the brain. Prospering in maturity is much more than learning about investments. It's learning about yourself. It's understanding that money is a mirror of your emotional and mental state, that outer prosperity begins with inner harmony. After 40, your brain already has the experience to unite emotion and reason, as long as you train it to do so. It's not about eliminating fear, but learning to listen to it without becoming paralyzed. It's not about eliminating desire, but channeling it toward goals that truly matter. The mature mind is the one that makes peace with money, that understands every financial decision is also an emotional one. And that prosperity isn't just about having more, it's about living with more awareness. When you learn to observe your emotions before acting, money stops being a source of anxiety and becomes a tool for growth. You start buying with purpose, investing with clarity, and planning with calm. And that is true prosperity. So the next time you're about to make a financial decision, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is it my reason speaking or my emotion disguised as reason? That simple question can change your entire financial path. Did you enjoy this video? Then like, share, and write in the comments, I choose to act with financial awareness. And check out our materials on financial mindset development linked in the first pinned comment.